Hello and welcome to today's pre-match show live, and obviously today again a double-headed day in the ongoing Women's 100. And today the first game is very vital in the context of the tournament. It is Sunrisers Leeds taking on Wales Fire, and you can call it is as a virtual quarter final because both teams are tied at 12 points. A very a much needed win for either teams because whoever wins this, they are still alive in the playoff race. And for the other team, it's done and dusted. As for this season, as it seems. So Trishadi, a big game, but obviously in the second game we will see you know two already eliminated teams taking on each other. By Birmingham Phoenix and London Spirit. Very unfortunate to see that the teams are already being eliminated before their second last match. But it is what it is. But Trishadi, the first game very vital. Sunrisers leads the way they have played so far, they are still in the race of the playoffs very much likely. And Dipti Sharma will be back in action. Dipti Sharma began the tournament on a high, looked good with the ball, but then again, few games didn't manage to pick up wickets. Then, if you see in the last two games, she again managed to come back amongst the wickets. So maybe a good thing that she is making a comeback into form at the right time for the team. But overall, did you expect a little bit more, especially from the bowling perspective of Dipti Sharma?
Before I answer the question, Snehashish, I just want to say for everyone who has been flooding my messenger, my Instagram, my Twitter DMs with when are you going to come back? I'm back. Mhm. I'm back for the show. But yeah, talking about Deepthi, I thought when she began the campaign, well, you and I had a chat about this that okay, maybe now that she has spent so much time in UK, she has finally adjusted to UK conditions. But then again, she started bowling very flat. She was bowling fast. I thought in the last two games, yes, the variations came into play, and she did bowl in a more controlled manner. But I still feel
Mhm.
her pace is not right yet because somewhere down the line, I think both batters and bowlers, and this is not for India alone, I think for the world over, have to start adjusting to much slower pitches. In England, the pitches have become slower. Earlier this year, when we went to South Africa, we saw the pitches there also were slower.
Mhm.
Probably apart from Australia, as of now, all the pitches around the world have become much slower. So that is where I feel Deepti needs to kind of just work around her pace a little more. And to be honest, I'm quite surprised and maybe a tad bit disappointed that the kind of bowler and the standard of the bowl, like standard of bowling that Deepti has set over the years, that she has still not figured out that perfect pace to bowl at.
Absolutely. And I think this is what we also discussed that the consistency is somehow missing, and
Yeah,
it is quite concerning. In the T20
yeah,
World Cup, we saw that, first game against Pakistan, she picked up those 5 wickets, and then
yeah,
she was struggling for wickets.
yeah,
And that is the same thing that we also saw in 100 as well. But it's good that for in the last few games, she is back among the wicket, and we can hope that in this vital game again, she can contribute both with the bat and ball, but mainly with the ball. But I think she is more important in that particular
yeah,
region. But Tushadi, two Aussies have been very pivotal for their success so far. I think Phoebe Litchfield at the top with the bat and Annabelle Sutherland as an all-rounder. I think it was quite surprising to see the kind of knocks Annabelle played. It is not something that you see from Annabelle,
for
especially in
international
shortest
cricket.
format.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, especially in shortest format. But the way she has batted, the strike rate that she has shown that she can also do the job down the order, I think is fantastic for Australian cricket. More good news for them. But with the ball, obviously, I think she has been a different bowler for the last 2 years, especially in the death overs. So one by one, Tushadi first, Phoebe Litchfield at the top. I think that was a good move from the team. That from number three, they suddenly considered her as a all as an opener, and that has worked for her. And now see, she is the fastest player to score the 20 ball 50 in the last game.
yeah. With Litchfield, I genuinely did not mind the number three spot because that is the spot she now takes for Australia in T20Is. Again, because Beth Mooney and Georgia Wall are opening. Having said that, even for Australia, I was like, you know what? Litchfield and Wall should open. So glad to see that she's opening. But this, again, this is where I kind of want to understand that how leagues and international cricket go hand in hand. Because, see, opener and number three, I don't think makes a lot of difference most of the time. But still, coming after 20 balls and coming absolutely in the beginning does make a difference. But Litchfield has been phenomenal, and going forward, she will be Australia's permanent opener. You know that Beth Mooney, she's a classic batter. There's no doubt about it. Yesterday also, she played a superb knock along with Nat Brandt.
Mm,
But
mm,
she has been in a lot of ways pivotal for Trent Rockett's success. But having said that, in the near future, it's going to be Litchfield and Wall.
mm,
So good that Litchfield is in that position. And if we have to talk about Litchfield's batting, then I mean, come on, she's absolutely one of the best batters to watch out for right now. The
mm,
kind of shots she plays, the kind of audacity that she shows, it's
mm,
it's beautiful. The wrist work, um, the footwork. She is one of the, this is the reason why you and I keep getting frustrated when she keeps getting out in the 30s,
mm.
35s. She has a bit of Shafali syndrome to her, 30s, 35s. But recently, in the World Cup against South Africa, and I think in the semis, right?
Mm.
Or against India, where did she score a 50?
Uh, I
She
think
scored two fifties in this World Cup,
yes.
and
First is the against the South Africa that big
that was
big
a
one.
fab innings. That
Yes,
was
yes.
absolutely beautiful.
Against it is.
And the other one was against us, is it? No,
I
I don't.
think it's India. Yeah, I forgot. Sorry.
Anyway, yeah, it was a forgettable World Cup for us. So anyway, Litchfield has to do that more often, to be honest.
Mm,
Yes, I'm happy that she's scoring runs, but that has to be on a more consistent basis. I mean, yes, as an Indian, I don't want her to do it on a
mhm,
consistent basis against India. But in
mm,
general, when you talk about someone like Litchfield, because she's an absolute asset. And in the near future, I do think that she is one of the captaincy candidates, leadership material as well, not only for Australia but a franchisee side too.
mm,
So overall, Litchfield being in form, Litchfield performing is super entertaining. And I think about her batting, she's technically also extremely sound. The footwork, as because I love the way she uses her feet, the
mm,
way she uses the crease. So, and she's balanced every single time, even though she moves a lot. The difference is for someone like Jemmy, there are times you feel that she's not balanced when she's hitting the ball. But
mm,
with
mm,
Phoebe, that's not the case. You know, every single time she's in position and she's balanced just before she's meeting the ball.
mm. Absolutely, and she has been fantastic, no doubt about that. And she will be again very crucial, especially in this clash. But another Aussie, Trishali, Annabelle Sutherland, as an all-rounder, I think, as I said earlier, also she has been phenomenal for
Yeah.
Sunrise and Leeds.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with Sutherland, she is. I was seeing. I think in the No Ball podcast, um,
Mm,
Kate Cross said she's the best uh, player right now in women's cricket, and honestly, I completely agree.
mm,
She is one of the most complete players. I thought the batting part, which you spoke about, because this is again something that we have spoken about. Annabelle Sutherland is pushed to number 8
mm,
because she has not performed up to her potential as far as batting is concerned. Bowling, of course, is a very, very different beast there. But since the semi-final, if I'm not wrong, that's when there was a shift. You could see that she played a good hand, good knock. If she can consistently bat the way she's batting for Sunrisers Leeds, I think I'm glad as a Delhi Capitals fan. Uh, I am very unhappy as an Indian fan because this is not going in the right way. Sutherland, there's a reason why Sutherland has won those Allen Border medals
Yes.
back to back. And sorry, not Allen Border, Belinda Clark medals.
Belinda.
Yeah, back to back. And for me, you know, the names that you take, see, this is the problem. And uh, when we talk about India, we are talking about the same players that we have been talking about 10 years earlier as well,
Mm,
probably. But when it comes to other teams, we are talking about the future. You know, and Abdul Sutherland is going to give you, say, about 10, almost 7, 8 years. When you say
easily.
7, 8 years, which is close to two ODI World Cups and four T20I World Cups, mm, could be two Olympic Games as well. So if you see the future is, and look at the names that you have taken, two of them are for Australia.
Mm.
So that shows how ready Australia is all the time. And
Mm.
yeah, I mean that is one thing where I thought India should have made use of Asia Cup. You know, these are the times when you send people like Nikki Prasad, the Jeet Risha, Vaishnavi Sharma. I mean, we can go on talking about this, but the truth is, this is where you build the future. I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's a little disappointing. Sorry.
Yes, very understandable. But moving on to the next question, Trishadi, I think we have to talk about the captain, Danny Gibson. I think it was a huge opportunity for her. So
Yeah.
far, she has managed to keep her team in the race, in the playoff race. But I will ask you from the broader perspective, from England perspective. Obviously, we are seeing right now that England being led by someone like Nat Brand. But when it comes to the future, we know
Mm.
that Charlie Dean is in the radar. She is the
Yeah.
new vice captain. She is in the radar, no doubt about that, and she has done well. Yes, in the ongoing 100, her team has not done well. She has failed to lead that team to the playoffs. They already knocked out London Spirit. So how do you see that? Danny Gibson, if she managed to take her team to the playoffs or maybe in the final. We never know. I think after these two games, we'll get to know that. But overall, whatever you have seen so far of Danny Gibson in this tournament, do you think that in future we can see her being one of the front runners for England captaincy as well?
Um, I'll put it this way. I think Charlie Dean, of course, as you said, is in the number
Yeah.
one position. And I
Mm,
genuinely think that she's the one that England should go for.
mm,
Because again, it's how I feel the vision for future should be. That you build someone for at least 1.5, 2 years, and then you have to give Charlie Dean some time to settle in. I think Nat Brandt's
mm,
injury has given her a lot of time to settle in as a captain.
mm,
But with Danny Gibson, what I feel is she plays a very significant and important role, right? With Nat Brandt, especially with Nat Brandt not bowling, so Gibson just gets
mm,
her bowling as well as she bats at that finisher position. Um, her being part of the whole leadership group, I think will make Charlie Dean's work a lot easier, you know, which
mm,
is where Danny Gibson leading the side is important. And I think um, at certain stages, you would have found her bowling changes quite interesting, quite gutsy. And yet she has this very, what do you call that? She has very, you know what is the plan A, but you also see a
mm, mm,
captain who's flexible to go to her plan B or C if need be, which
mm,
is what you want in a leader ultimately. And what I've liked is Danny Gibson does talk to her bowlers. She does
mm,
have go up to them and kind of has words with them, which again all boils down to the fact that India at that I want to say India, but England is building a very very strong leadership
mm,
core. So eventually, if even if Natsiva Brandt plays as a batter and does not play as a captain, because honestly, all said and done, I don't think Nat Brandt is a great captain. As I said, Nat Brandt eventually might play a little longer as a batter, but I think as a captain, it is the right time for England to move on from her. Even
mm,
though I know it was last year that she got captaincy, but still, maybe it is the best time to go with someone like Charlie Dean. But because Danny Gibson can actually give that support in the leadership group, is what I think. And yeah, you're absolutely correct. I think England is building up a good core leadership group.
Mm, yes, absolutely. And it's always good to have so many leadership options in your team.
Yeah.
As Trishadi mentioned, then the the core leadership group becomes more stronger, and that can
Yeah.
only help a team be more stronger going forward, no doubt about that. But moving on to the opposition team, All Star captain Trishadi Georgia Wareham. Obviously, she was not the captain in the first hand. Sophie Devine. Unfortunately, she got injured. She got ruled out. But after that, the way Wareham managed to handle the team pressure under pressure, and the way team have performed, and as you can see, we are there, still in the race for the playoffs. So how do you see Wareham also another probable candidate for the upcoming seasons for Australia, maybe for that captaincy? I know Sophie Molyneux has been doing fantastic even in this 100 as well, but Wareham maybe also showing signs that she also can be considered going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the way she has batted in the World Cup and the way she look, a leg spinner in the shortest format will always be handy and important. And clearly, she is the go-to leg spinner for Australia that they have shown. If it's Wareham versus Alana King, then they go with
Mhm.
Georgia Wareham. Uh,
Mhm.
so she's already part of the core group that they're seeing. And unfortunately, yes, her leadership has clearly shown that she's also part of that. She can be part of the whole talk. In fact, one player, I think, who, in spite of being the vice captain, both the vice captains actually are way less visible in their leadership role than the others who are going to
Yes.
be future captains, vice captains, I feel. You know,
Mhm.
I don't see Ash Gardner or Talia McGrath making it to the captaincy podium, to be fair.
Mhm.
And it ideally should not be the case, because after
Mhm.
Sophie Molyneux, if you really have to go with someone, then it has to be someone like a Phoebe Litchfield, right? I thought Sophie Molyneux was a more stopgap option,
Mhm.
but now that she has won the World Cup, that must have changed. And
Mhm.
especially,
Yes.
clearly there is a bit of an issue in that team going on, the way Sophie Molyneux has handled it, and that was clear because everyone ran to her, kind of the good words from
Mm,
Perry, and I think everybody, everybody spoke about, what I
mm,
liked is everybody spoke about the person that she is. That
mm.
speaks a lot about the leader. It's
Everybody
not.
loves to play under her, what it seems.
Exactly, exactly. Um, and that is clearly visible the way she's leading Southern Brave as well.
Yes,
Yes, Southern
yes.
Brave lost two games. That's separate. But the way she is leading Southern
Mm,
Brave, it's quite visible. Her captaincy was never a problem. I'm still
mm,
saying
mm,
that my only question is, if she remains not injured for uh,
mm.
for good enough time, then I think yes, she'll be a permanent captain. Otherwise, unfortunately, she'll be a stopgap captain if the injuries continue. Thankfully,
Yes.
touch wood, it's all good right now. But if and when Australia need to look forward, I think they have to look at
Mm,
Phoebe Litchfield, Georgia Wareham, Annabel Sutherland. More than
mm.
Wareham, to be fair, if I'm being absolutely fair, I think I
Sutherland.
look at the pair of Litchfield and Annabel Sutherland.
Mm,
Um,
Sutherland.
you yeah, because look at who can handle the captaincy pressure. Kind of that becomes
Mm.
important.
Yes, absolutely. And it seems that there are so many,
England has
performing
captaincy
Australians.
options. Uh, Australia has captaincy options.
Yes.
India,
Okay, we can discuss that after in a show.
yeah.
But Tushar, it seems that there are so many performing Australians in both the teams. Again, I have to talk about two more Australians that have been performing for Wales Fire. I think Heather Graham. I think
Yeah.
very experienced, played across all over the world, and I think she has been brilliant. Again, very surprising the way she has batted and managed to win two games with the bat. With the ball, she can deliver, and she did that. So she did
I
that
was
with the
not
bat.
surprised. I'll be very honest with you. I think when Heather Graham was selected in RCB, is it? Because Ellis Perry was not there? No.
No,
Yes.
no, 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 no,
Heather
no.
Graham was selected in some team where I said, it's quite, I think it's RCB only. Wait, this though I will check.
Yes, check one.
Because
Yes.
Heather Graham, WPL 2026.
RCB or
She did not feature. No, she was not selected.
oh,
She
no?
went unsold. But she was an injury replacement, I thought.
No, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe she was in discussion, but maybe she was not finalized. Maybe that is why. Maybe.
Could be. Could be.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I thought she in the shorter format she does play a role, and I will be hated for saying this, but she does play a role very similar to Alice Perry. Of course,
Mm,
Perry's experience, Perry's match winning qualities are very, very different, but also she plays a very, very similar role. You can clearly see Snehashish, and I'm not saying that everyone will retire tomorrow itself, but eventually when they retire,
mm.
yeah, whatever you say in social media, it has to be there. Yesterday I tweeted, I hope the Indian management is where when Richa has to come out to, or
Yeah.
where Richa has to come out to bat. By that I meant Richa has to be sent a little,
Yeah.
with
It's
time in
not
hand.
about the batting position. It's
Yeah,
about the
and
ball
suddenly
family.
people made it about Jemmy versus Richa, which is highly amusing because till now, apparently, I'm biased about Jemmy. So if I was biased about Jemmy, how am I throwing her out there? But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, so as I said, in fact, I remember I had said in one of the shows that three, four players will retire, and they were like,
Let's
"What is
see.
she smoking? When will they retire?" Arey bhai, nobody is saying tomorrow people will retire. When you say people will retire after the World Cup, it means the next World Cup.
The
Generally, in
next
India, I
cycle.
think that vision is not clear. That vision is apparently not clear with our, people as well. But anyway, you know, I think if you look at it with the kind of experience that Heather Graham brings in, probably not at number three, on maybe at number four. I don't mind if you bring her in at number four again. Then the question comes,
Mm,
where does Ash Gardner come? That
mm,
permutation combination can be worked on, but eventually, when Alice Perry decides to move on, you have a Heather Graham who can take
absolutely.
up that role. I think she has been phenomenal. And in fact, I remember last Southern Brave game,
Mm,
when they were picking up wickets at a regular interval. In my head, I was like, the only wicket we need right now is Heather Graham. If you
right.
do not pick her up, there are chances she'll pull the match through, and exactly what happened. So I
Mm,
won't say I was surprised because, in fact, I'm disappointed when she doesn't play like that because this
mm,
is
mm.
something that she can do.
Yes. Yes. Another Aussie, Tushati Georgia Wall at the top. She has been doing her job with the bat.
You're again getting phone call, is it?
No, no, no. It's all fine. Now it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Yes, I think Georgia Wall has been brilliant, but also Georgia Wall was always brilliant.
Mm,
For a longish time, of course, she had to warm the bench because there was an Aliza Healy. You cannot replace Aliza Healy at some point. I thought Wall's footwork has been much better. Is
mm,
what my observation has been. Uh, Again, I think she's one of those players who has so much potential and looks so good while batting, those shots. I think
mm.
also what I liked is she has stuck to the role that is given to her in the Aussie batting lineup, which is the aggressor, because Beth
Yes.
Mooney is more like the one who will take a few balls, settle in, and then go for her gap shots.
Mm, mm,
But with Georgia Wall, because Beth Mooney is there, she has to go from ball one.
mm,
Unlike when she would probably come out to bat with a Litchfield.
mm,
And I think in one of the interviews during the World Cup, also Georgia Wall had said that, you know what, I have to do the Healy kind of role, where
mm,
I have
mm,
to be aggressive from the beginning, which is what she has maintained here as well. So
mm, mm.
it's good practice for her. And if she can do it consistently, she takes a lot of confidence from here to the Australian, tournaments coming forward.
Yes. Okay, last two questions regarding this game, then we'll talk about the second game. And thankfully, this is not related to any Australian player, finally. Okay. Okay. Trishadi, Freya Camp. Very disappointing the way she has played so far in this tournament because I think both were discussing before the tournament that this 100 could be a fantastic tournament for someone like Freya Camp. But two things, the way team has used her with the bat at number three mostly, And secondly, with the ball, she has not been used that much. What is your thought on that?
Yes, I think with the bat, Freya Camp is not meant to come at number three. You have to
Mm,
understand that Freya Camp's role is not to come at number three. Freya Camp can come with 20 balls left
mm,
and then go for her shots. Not, yes, at number three, she might score today, but it's not like she's going to give you runs every single day at number three. And again,
mm,
number three is not the point. Batting position wise, I wouldn't say it's when she's coming into bat. She has a
mm,
lot
mm,
of time in her hand, which is confusing her, whether she should go for her shots, whether she should kind of play the
mm,
longish innings. And by longish innings, it is not anchoring. There is a different way. And with England, with Australia players, they will take the twos, hit the gaps. But what happens with someone like Freya Kemp is she's not someone who's just going to hit the gaps and take twos. She's going to go for her big shots,
mm,
which is why someone like her will always do well when she's brought in that position where she has 15 balls, 20 balls, and make those 35, 40s, the impact runs. I think that is where she has not been used properly. And
mm,
Welsh Fire has to use her better. I'm also quite surprised that Welsh Fire is not using her bowling, because I thought she was
mm.
bowling really well in the World Cup.
Yes,
But the other side to that is could be workload management for her, because she's
absolutely.
also injury prone. So maybe that could be workload
Mm.
management for her.
Yes. Even I was also thinking the same, that apart from that, there should not be any kind of a reason that we are not using,
Yeah.
Priya Camp as a bowler. So
Yeah.
yes. Okay. The last question, Trishadi, Ola Prendergast came as a substitute and that, as an replacement option, and that too of someone like, Sophie Devine. So a big task for her. But the way she has done so far in the last two games, and especially the first game was okay, not that good. But in the second game, I think she was fantastic with the ball, 4 wickets. The way she bowled Meg Lanning, oh my god, the ball nipped back, hit the top of off stump. I think it was fantastic
It
to
was
see.
beautiful.
So for a
Reminded
player
me
from
of the
Ireland,
Kranti God dismissing Meg Lanning.
yes, yes, in WPL, yes, absolutely. So Tushari, in the context of that angle, players from, Ireland, players from different countries, getting this kind of opportunity and making it count. How big is this for players like, Ola Prendergast?
Yes, to be fair, today's game I think has very different significance for someone like Orla Prendergast, someone like Fatima Sana in Birmingham Phoenix,
Mm,
because
mm,
in the future you want these players from these teams to come for, like, to be selected more so that
mm,
they get more exposure. And then suddenly the World Cups, which are mostly 4, 5 team World Cups, can then
mm.
become those. It's one thing to have 20
Excellent.
teams or 12
Mm,
teams in the World Cup, and
mm,
another thing to have 12 teams really competing in the World Cup. And I
mm,
think the more, players like Fatima Sana, players like Ola Pendergast begin those,
mm,
begin seeding that exposure for their
mm,
particular team, they will go back with the experience, they will go back with the experience of playing against
mm,
top
mm,
quality bowling lineups, even though it's not an international tournament. Especially for someone like Fatima Sana, I think more, way more than
mm,
Orla Pendergast in certain ways, because Pendergast does play franchisee cricket. But Fatima, in general, has not got that
mm,
exposure a
mm,
lot. So I
mm.
think it does seem like a fantastic prospect for me as far as
Oh
women's
yes.
cricket globally is concerned. If you are having Olympics, means you will get a lot more teams. Teams like China, teams like USA will now start taking cricket seriously, because a huge medal is there, and for them an Olympic medal is extremely, extremely significant and important. So I feel the world of women's cricket, men's cricket as well, but sticking to
Mm, mm,
women's cricket is broadening up, and the inclusions and the exposure that associate nations or the teams which have not yet become big get only makes this more interesting. Like, you
mm,
want uh, today India Pakistan, or Pakistan, um, India Pakistan is hyped, all right. But think of this, if Pakistan players have similar exposure, then they can actually put in a show which could
mm,
make not only India Pakistan more interesting, it could also help market the game, because India Pakistan now, with almost, India is going to win kind of a
Mm.
situation, is still marketed because it's India
Yes.
Pakistan. Now think of this: if
Yes.
the players play well, again, same goes for, say, an England Ireland. There is a historic
Mm.
significance, and if
Yes. Yes.
Ireland can actually play well, suddenly it all changes. So, which is
Mm.
where I feel Ola Pendergast, Fatima Sana could be those Rashid Khans for their team.
Mm. Yes, no doubt about that. So again, a big opportunity for both of these players, as both of them will be in action today. But moving on to the second game, Trishadi, as I mentioned earlier also
It's
that
a
both the
formality,
teams
yeah.
are knocked out. Yes, the formality. Yes, but London Spirit, Trishadi, on paper they are quite a good side. The names that they have, it's very surprising to see the way they have performed.
Yeah.
So Trishadi, yeah. So I'm just saying that for me, what I have observed that I think as a unit they have failed to perform. If you see, Mason Cap has been brilliant throughout the campaign. With the ball, she has been delivering. She has been taking with the ball, taking wicket with the new ball in the middle stage, even in the day to balls if needed. With the bat also, she had delivered. She has scored those important 20s, 30s whenever team needed. Uh, but apart from that, the the English talents that they have not performed as a unit, and also the established foreigners names like Nadine de Clark, like Dana Dottin, like Grace Harris, they have not been that much consistent enough also. So do you also agree that as a unit they have failed to perform? Apart from that, Madison Cap has been their star performer despite this failure campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, for example, Grace Harris, the way she has batted kind of shows why she does not make it regularly to
Mm,
Australia's T20I
mm,
playing 11.
mm,
When you go to Deandra Doughton, I think there are two parts to it. One, the
mm,
last game I watched, because it's not like I've watched all the games. It has not been possible with
mm,
the coverage of Commonwealth Games as well. I think for me, the games that I've watched, I've said this, that Deandra Doughton is way past her prime.
mm,
Uh, and Stephanie Taylor is someone after her prime. She somehow finds a way to score runs, but Dotting just cannot find ways to score runs.
mm.
But also the other part to it, of course, is, and it's a little surprising. It was a little surprising last game. Why was Dotting sent at number 8?
No, don't know.
And you cannot send her at number 8 even if she's out of form, not because of her reputation, but the fact that she brings,
Yes.
what does she bring to the game? um I think so. London Spirit probably has not used them well, as well. And what is the other player whose name is
Narendra Clark.
Oh
Narendra Clark.
my god, she has been so disappointing. In fact, that's what I wrote to you last
Yes.
game, right? That what is wrong with Nadine de Klerk? Why is Nadine de Klerk just performing like somebody she's not?
Mm, mm,
uh,
mm.
and and I think that also happened in the T20 World Cup. She has been
Yes.
struggling in the T20 World.
Mm,
She was struggling in the T20 World Cup as well. She has to go back to the drawing board and kind of try to figure out where is she going wrong.
mm,
For me, she's playing too many shots. I think the
mm.
best thing of the
Mm,
way Nadine de Klerk batted, in the ODI World Cup specifically, she was very very sure about her shots. Did
mm,
not try to play too many shots back to back. Was in control of her game. I don't see that. I just think that, because in her head she knows I have the power to cross boundaries. I
mm,
can, if I connect, I can hit any ball out of the park. She has been trying
mm.
to hit every ball out of the park, which is kind of coming back to haunt her, and she's losing the last game. Also, I thought Nadine de Klerk will win it for London Spirit, but it did
Mhm.
not work.
Yes. Yes, but Tushari, one question that I was wondering that obviously they have a strong, middle order. You have Mason Cap, you have Deandra Dottin, you have Nathan the Clark. On paper it is looking superb that they can win you games. But when you see the opening part, Grace Harris and Amy Jones, there is a something concerning, right? Because you are mostly depending on Grace Harris. If she clicks, you are going to put up a good score on the board or maybe chasing the big total. So why not your team like London Spirit went with someone like another option from that position like Narendra Clark and Grace Harris at the top, because Narendra Clark had opened earlier in few occasions I know in WPBL, but at least they could have tried that, because in a tournament of 100 balls you need a proper start, you need to maximize the 25 balls. So how do you see that? Should you also think that they could have tried that approach?
No, I wouldn't promote Nadine
Mm,
Clark. I'll be very honest. I want her for the finisher role.
mm,
But
mm.
as you said, for the opening, what I felt was, look, you need one of the openers who's at least consistent.
Yes.
Every team that's on top, if you actually look at them, for
Mm,
example,
mm.
Southern Brave, Lizelle Lee has been horrendous.
Yes,
But
yes.
Busher
Maya
is
Butcher.
who has done well. In the
Yes,
same
Sophia
way,
Dudley for Leeds Rockets.
exactly. So if you look at it from that way, you will see one of the openers have done well. But in case of Amy
Mm,
Jones and Grace Harris, both of them are inconsistent. Both of them will, like, you have two Grace Harris's batting or two Amy Jones's batting together. And that is what is happening. They're not getting a good start. They're getting out early,
yes.
which is where I would say get somebody like somebody who's not really a big hitter,
Mm, mm,
but also has that knack where she can shift gears, because
mm,
both Grace Harris and Amy Jones can't open. They can't.
yes.
I mean, again, if you look at England opening, there was a Amy Jones one side, but there was
Mm,
Danny
mm,
Whitehouse, who
yes,
was
yes.
scoring the runs. So I think
Mm,
that is somewhere where London Spirit went absolutely wrong. They kind
mm,
of thought, right at the beginning, we'll set a tone. But if you go back to, say, for example, Grace Harris opening for RCB as well, there was a Smriti
mm, mm,
Mandana.
mm.
When you have Smriti and
Yes,
Mandana at
yes,
the other end, it's half the job done anyway. So,
yes, yes.
even when, like, even if Smriti is not consistent, she's going to perform in 5 out of 8 games.
Mm, mm,
So if
mm, mm,
Smriti performs in 5 out of 8 games and Grace Harris performs in one or two of those 5 games, RCB is not
mm,
only winning that game, they're winning with a good net run rate. There's no doubt about it.
mm,
That is
mm.
something similar that London Spirit should have done.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. The opposition, Birmingham Phoenix, I think they have also very similar kind of problems to this
Yeah.
team. To London Spirit. Again, they have not performed as a unit. That is the main problem for them. Their foreigners have not that have not performed. They are also very confused to use Fatima Sana as the batter. They are the way they
Oh
have
my
used
God,
Fatima
they
Sana
have
the
been
batter.
so poor. I think the
Oh my
last
God.
game, Birmingham Phoenix, I was, watching, and I am screaming at home that, do you guys remember that this girl knows how to bat? What's wrong with you all? But yeah, it is,
Mhm.
it is very weird the way they have used Fatima Sana. It's almost like they have forgotten that she bats. And it
Yes.
often happens, in franchisee cricket, when you have too many all-rounders, and that
Mm,
is how teams are made, right? That you have put in a lot of all-rounders who can bat, bowl. There are chances you do not use at least two, three of them properly. The teams that
mm.
have been able to use them properly have actually done better, if you see.
Yes, but Tushadi, here again the question comes on Ellis Perez captaincy as well. A little bit more disappointing, I think, in this tournament so far.
Um, yes and no, both. I would say on paper, while they do look good, but again, Perry is someone who hasn't really done superbly well as a captain, on
Mm,
and off.
mm, mm,
Whenever she has captained, she has shown those. It's one thing to be a good player, let's put it this
mm.
way, and not, and
Yes.
something that I keep pointing out,
Mm,
that not every good student will make a good teacher,
yes.
not every good
Yes.
player will make
Absolutely.
a good captain. Leadership quality is very different, and having
Mm,
leadership quality not being the captain is also very different. Like,
yes.
people might come up and say, oh, you know what, Perry had a talk with the Australian team just before the India second innings or something of that sort. And she has the leadership quality. She
Mm,
has the mentoring quality, is what I feel.
mm,
Not the leadership
mm.
quality. Leadership quality is very different, where I think she would have made better use of her resources, because it's not like Birmingham Phoenix does not have resources. I
Yes.
just think they
Yes.
have not used it well.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, but before wrapping up, last question, Trishadi. Frankly speaking, I am not that kind of a surprised the way Tammy Women has played so far in this tournament. Very disappointing,
Why is
but
she playing?
yeah, I kind of expected that this thing can happen. But
Yeah,
very
I think.
disappointed
Yeah,
with the
sorry.
way Davina Perrin has played. I expected a lot from her.
Yeah, no, I think more than us, Charlotte Edwards will be
Oh yes,
disappointed because
yes.
Charlotte Edwards, one of the days, was talking to somebody in the English media itself. They were just having a chat, and I
Mm,
was standing there, and I was also talking to them. That is when she had because I think the English media person spoke about why was Devina Perrin not a part of the World Cup squad,
mm,
and that is where she
mm,
said she's doing perfectly well in the
mm.
intra squad matches. She did not do well, but I think in the
Yes.
future she's a huge prospect.
Mm,
But she's definitely not playing like a prospect.
mm, mm.
I think I would be worried, and I would hope she does not go the Capsy way. And I'm sad to say
Mm,
that, but I think Alice Capsy tons of potential.
mm.
She has shown glimpses of her potential. She has not really made a full this thing of her potential, right?
Mm,
And
mm,
I
mm,
think Devina Perrin has it in her, maybe a few
mm.
more A2s or something of that sort, but there is something which is not clicking. Could also
Yes.
be, what, at times it happens, and I'm not putting the complete blame on Tammy Beaumont, but at times younger lots need the other opener also to do
Yes.
well,
Yes.
to kind of
Absolutely.
have a
Mm,
longish partnership so
mm,
that they
mm,
can feel settled and they can have more of
mm,
the feeling of the ball. So Tammy
mm,
Beaumont being in absolute horrendous form does make it
mm.
much more difficult for Petit. But then
Yes.
again, honestly, when Tammy Beaumont was playing, I was a little surprised that she was playing WPP.
Mm. Yes, absolutely. By the way, I like that, Alice Capsey way thing because Alice Capsey is her teammate in this Birmingham Phoenix team. So yeah. So let's see how they do today. But as we when we started the video, we talked that the first game is the vital one in today's double decider. The first game depending that
डबल डिसाइडर
you know,
कुछ भी डबल
no,
डिसाइडर क्या
it's
होता है
double header. Yes, double header. It's not decided. The fate of London Spirit and Birmingham Phoenix has been decided.
हैज
So
बीन
there is nothing to decide.
डिसाइडेड
Yes, there is nothing to decide. Yes, but for the first game, it's a very vital game. So let's see how Dipti Sharma do, how Sunrisers Leeds do, or whether Wales Fair can continue the momentum because right now both teams are tied at the same team. So definitely. So thank you to Sharif for joining in, and we will definitely come up with the post-match show talking about both the games. And definitely, please keep an eye on the episodes for all the latest update regarding sports. Thank you.